Morning, everyone, and welcome to a Sunday sermon. This week, we are going to have the Archangel Ariel. She's referred to as the Lioness of God. I'm not totally sure what that means. Maybe she'll tell us. We've been talking to archangels lately. On our Hello Heaven show, we had messages from 4 different ones. So if you like angels, you ought to check that show out Friday night. It was special. So anyway, Ariel, what is your message for us today? Good morning, everyone. And yes, I truly thank you for taking time to listen to these messages. We all wish that more and more people would do it, but we are very, very grateful for those of you that listen every week. You are true soldiers of God. Now, they refer to me as the Lioness of God, and I'm not really sure what they were talking about either because there are no lionesses in heaven. We try to do our best to bring people closer to God. That's all we can do. Angels have a lot of abilities, a lot of powers, a lot of things they can do. But one thing we can't do is really change your mind if it's made up. You have free will. You hear that every message. Everyone uses that term, free will. But it's either the greatest thing for a human or it can be one of the worst things for them. Many people like you, the ones that are listening, choose to follow God's words, choose to do what he wants you to do, try to bring others to him. Many of you have got the foundation of faith of which we speak. Now, the question becomes, how do we bring the foundation of faith to those that don't have it? For many, it's impossible, and I'm sorry to say that. We try to lead people, and then they do really stupid things. We even see some people turn to Satanism. Now, why in the world would you try to worship something that doesn't exist? There are evil energies, obviously, but Satan is not real. If you think it is, you're making a very grave mistake, and especially if you're worshiping some bizarre thing that the people have made up about Satan, you're doing terrible. That's a terrible thing to yourself. The reality is you're probably not hurting many other people with it. You may be, because there are a lot of evil people that hurt others. But the average person, they don't need that type of distraction in their lives, and especially for their soul lives. You see, your human body, that really doesn't mean a whole lot. It's going to be around for 80, 90 years, maybe if you're lucky and have a long life plan. But then your soul comes out of it, goes to heaven. It can be in heaven for as long a time as you want. Notice I said as long a time. We don't have time over here, so there's no rush. You can stay here until you see that things are changing on earth that you think you'd like to come back and participate. Now, some of the souls in the upper realms will be asked to come back with special missions. So that's part of the beauty of being in the upper realms. You're trusted. God knows what you've done to serve him through many, many lifetimes. So when you're in the upper levels, he knows that if he asks you to do something, in all probability, you'll probably do it. And he knows that when you come back, you'll do your best. Oh, that's really all he asks of anyone. All he wants you to do is to do your best. In your job, try as hard to do what you need to do to be a success in your job, because success will have a good effect on those that are around you or those that are under your control at work. Be a good person. I know every week you hear the words, do not do anything that you would not when done to yourself. But that is the foundation. That's the foundation of common sense. If you follow those simple words, there's really not much more you need to do. Because unless you're some type of sadist or Satanist or whatever, you don't want bad things done to you. Some people, now, there are people, masochists, that I think enjoy pain, but we're not talking about them. They're not the people that generally have this strong foundation that we're referring to. The free will gets all these people into problems, and then they don't know how to get out of it. Oh, they'll get out of it because they're going to die. When their time comes, all of their human problems are solved. But how they live their life, that leads to problems in heaven when they return. What does a good person do? Well, it starts off by not hurting other people. That's kind of like common sense because you don't want to be hurt. A good person tries to control their anger. Now, everybody gets angry. That is a fact. What we say is we want you to control your anger. Don't show it. Many people can be angry and the other person that they're angry at doesn't know it. And that's a good thing. Because if you show your anger to that person, they're going to show it back. A human life is pretty much like your reflection in the mirror. What you see in that mirror is a reflection of the reality that's around you. You're seeing your person, what you are, the human being that you become. Now it's up to you to judge. You might do a little practice for what your guides are going to do when you return to heaven. Look in that mirror and ask yourself what you've done in your life, what you've accomplished, how many people you've helped. That's a true indicator. An individual that has helped many people, that's a good person. That's a person that we respect from this side. Through the years, we've given you a lot of help, a lot of advice. We've shown you how to help people, what to do. We probably even introduced you to people that need help to see how you would respond. Every day a human lives is a test. That's how you have to look at it. Every day is a period of time in which you will be awake. How you use that period of time, that's the true multiplier for you when you return to heaven. If you use it helping others, there's no better use. Now, there are many people that have this great wealth, and you hear about this every week. If you have wealth beyond what you need, now we're not saying to put yourself in the poorhouse by helping others. We want you to have a happy life. The happier your life, the more you will do to bring happiness to others. So we don't want you to worry about where the next penny is coming. Believe me, the government is doing enough to make you worry about this. So don't do anything that is going to compound that worry. But if you have extra funds, monies that you will not need for your necessities of life, think about how you can use that to help others. Contributions to shelters, contributions to food banks, that type of thing. Now, yes, there are people that abuse every type of charity, every type of food bank, every type of shelter. But there are so many people that are simply dependent upon it today. That's a very sad thing because your current civilization, your standards of living are higher than they've ever been before. People are living better lives. People have access to food supplies. They don't have to raise their own. Stop and think for a moment about the pioneers, the people that came before you that had to raise their food and had to store it so that it would last through the winter months. If they didn't raise enough food, they would go hungry. Many starved to death. Sadly, there are still people that starve to death in this modern technological world. There are people that simply cannot find the food they need. You go to certain areas of the world, you'll see them going through garbage dumps looking for food. Stop and think about that. A person would have to scavenge through trash cans. You don't have to really go far to see that. The big cities, it's happening all the time. People that can't find food for their families are looking through the trash cans to see what other people have disregarded that they have not eaten. It's a terrible thing. God does not want this, obviously. God wants everyone to be happy, to be able to enjoy themselves, to be able to find food to eat. He wants everyone not to pollute the planet that he created. When you pollute the planet, you in the long term are going to be harming the food supply, the clean water. You see, God provided all of these things for you. It seems like many humans are trying to exhaust the sources that are so important. Today, you have these beautiful fish in the ocean that are contaminated with nuclear radiation because humans are too stupid to control the powers that they've been given. You have people today that are building bomb shelters thinking they can protect themselves if nuclear war breaks out. There is no protection from something that stupid. If nuclear war breaks out and it affects all the countries, you're not going to be able to raise food long into the future. So these people that think they can outsmart the system and build these fancy bomb shelters, they're kidding themselves. It'll only last so long. The real truth is finding love for your neighbor, for knowing what is good, for knowing what is bad. If you are scheming on ways to steal from others, you certainly understand that you're not doing what God wants. What God wants is going to be the controlling factor when you return to heaven. He simply wants you to be a good person. He wants you to do all of the things that he speaks of. When he walked the earth, we supported him. We would help him. We would bring people to him that would listen to him, would carry on his messages after his passing. We did many things for Jesus when he walked the earth, but he was an incredible individual. You see, he was God, so everything he did reflected that. He spoke to the poor, he healed, he did all of the miracles that you've read about in the Gospels and the Bible. But the most important thing is that he spoke simplicity. He spoke the simple words. He knew he was dealing with the uneducated. They hadn't had access to fancy colleges. They hadn't even had access to any schools because they didn't exist. Their parents may have taught them something. Their parents taught them love. So even the poorest in those days, they knew what love was, because that's one of the great things of the way God has set things up. An infant learns from its parents, and the vast majority of parents show love to their children. If you want a good example, look at the animals. Look how an animal will protect its young. Now, sometimes humans are not as smart as animals in that respect. But generally, a mother shows true love for their child. The father knows that it cannot do what the mother can do in nourishing and showing love. The father has to take its time to support the family, and do what he has to do. But the father's love is every bit as great as that of the mother in most instances. Love is the key to what we would like to see is that love is carried on by the young. The young must see the example of people doing good. If the mother and father are fighting all the time, swearing at each other, showing physical violence towards each other, how do you think that child is going to reflect what it sees and what it learns? Many people think that violence is normal, that swearing is normal, that abusive language, talking about others, about bigotry, about people talking that they hate those individuals because of the colors of their skin. These are all terrible lessons that the young live. God does not want any of this to take place. All he wants is for the families to teach the young about him, about his teachings. A young child, they have to learn to get along with other children. If another child takes its toys, a baby will cry because it wants its toy back. It may go over and hit that child and take that toy. These are not lessons that should go untaught. You should tell that child. First of all, you talk to the child and tell them that they should never take another child's toys. Oh, yeah, maybe you should try telling your government that a government should not try taking all the necessities and items from the adults that live under them. You see, those politicians are probably the ones that took another child's toys and no one corrected them. So they don't know better. They can still be corrected by voting them out of office, but that becomes even more difficult because now the politicians are taking toys from individuals that want to influence them. So you see the channel of the way things keep taking place doesn't really change, does it? What happens to you as a child is often reflected what will happen to you as an adult. Build the foundation of faith. You hear that from us all the time. You hear it from the angels, the saints, the spirits that live with Jesus that knew him. You really hear it from Jesus himself when he speaks to you on Wednesday mornings. It's very important that you listen to his messages because his messages change to reflect the conditions of what's taking place in the world. You'll hear people say, "What would Jesus do?" Well, that should be rephrased to, "What would God do?" Jesus did what he was supposed to do. He taught others about God, the one God. He taught others about heaven, the beautiful paradise that was there when you died. He talked about your soul. He talked about an afterlife. He spoke all the time that if you lived a good life, you would join him in heaven. Now, the people hearing him didn't realize that he was actually telling them that he was going to be going first. You see, Jesus knew the facts of his death. How many of you out there would be capable of living and talking the life that Jesus did, knowing how your death was going to come? But you see, he also knew of the resurrection, the rebirth, the miracle. He knew of the greatest thing that was ever going to take place, which was his resurrection. He knew everything. He wasn't able to tell every person that he met, all of the things that he knew. They couldn't understand or comprehend the miracle that was coming. Even the disciples, those closest to him, his followers, had no idea when he said that he would return to them. But they learned. They learned about the true miracle of God. They learned of the true miracle of his existence. Many people today say you have to prove to me that God exists. All they have to do is look around them and see all the miracles, all the blessings, the newborn baby. These are all miracles that God has provided for humans. These are all the proof anybody should ever need. But there's more proof. Look in the sky. Look at the sunsets. The sun. The sun is a miracle. He provided the sun to heat the earth in the proper way that humans could live on it. Did you ever think of that? It's a fact. God is with you every second of every day. He will be with you to help guide you to whatever problems you may have. But you must make the decision to believe. You must make the decision to understand. And you must make the decision to follow his suggestions for you. If you do, you'll have this wonderful life. If you don't, you'll bring yourself unhappiness. Listen closely to his words and try to follow them. That's the greatest advice I can ever give you. So goodbye. I thank you so much for allowing me to speak again. I hope that you realize now that even though they refer to me as a lioness, I'm far from it. I'm an angel. Goodbye, and I thank you so much for listening. The angels are great, aren't they? I mean, Friday night was wonderful. Today was amazing. They bring great messages. They're the closest to God, and there's something to be listened to. Take advantage of it. So we'll be back again next Sunday morning. Jesus told me that he will definitely be there Wednesday morning with another powerful message. So help spread his words. Tell others of it. If you're watching on YouTube, Facebook, share it with others. Do all you can. That's all we ask. It's not that much. Goodbye. Thank you so much for listening. We'll be back with you again next week.